One of the purposes of life, I've found, is to give something better than yourself to this world. And if you think about it, that's exactly what parenting is about. Parenting is not just about raising a child, it's about shaping the next generation, passing on values, beliefs, and ways of living. But here's the interesting part, parenting doesn't only happen with children. We all carry inside us an inner parent, a voice that guides us, warns us, and sometimes even scolds us. Eric Berne, the founder of Transactional Analysis, described this inner parent in two very different ways, the critical parent and the nurturing parent. Understanding the difference between the two can completely change the way we see ourselves and the way we relate to others. This topic is so important to understand, because it helps us catch ourselves when we shift between different ego states. Most of the time, we don't even realize it. We suddenly speak with the tone of a strict parent, or soften into a nurturing one, depending on the situation. And it's not just about us. When we learn to recognize these states, we can also see them in our children. We begin to notice when they copy our critical voice or when they show kindness they've absorbed from us. That awareness gives us the power to guide them, to help them evolve into healthier, more balanced human beings. Eric Berne, the founder of Transactional Analysis, said that inside each of us there are three ego states: the parent, the adult, and the child. Today, let's focus on the parent state. The parent is like a recording of all the things we observed and absorbed from authority figures while growing up. Think of it as a library in your mind, filled with voices of your parents, teachers, elders, and even society. Whenever you act, speak, or think in ways that reflect those early influences, you're in your parent ego state. Now, this parent state isn't just one thing, it has two very different faces. On one side, it can be the critical parent, the strict, judging voice that tells you what's right and wrong. On the other side, it can be the nurturing parent, the caring, supportive voice that comforts and encourages. Both exist in us, and both show up in the way we interact with others and with ourselves. The first face of the parent ego state is the critical parent. This is the voice that tells you what you should and should not do. It often comes out as judgment, rules, or warnings. You might hear it inside your own head saying things like, "Don't be lazy, that's not good enough," or "You'll embarrass yourself if you do that." On its negative side, the critical parent can be judgmental, dominant, punishing, or condescending. In relationships, this might look like being overly strict with our children, constantly criticizing our partner, or making others feel small and incapable. But it also has a positive side. The critical parent can advise, inform, order, and guide. It's the part of us that gives structure and boundaries, that pushes us to meet deadlines, reminds us of rules, and protects us from harm. Without it, life would drift into chaos. So, the critical parent is not simply bad. It's a powerful part of us that, when balanced, provides discipline and direction. The problem only begins when it becomes too harsh, leaving no room for kindness or growth. On the other side of the parent ego state, we find the nurturing parent. This is the warm, caring voice within us. It's the part that says, "Don't worry, you're doing your best," or "Take some rest, you've worked hard." It's the side that comforts a friend in pain, or holds a child close when they're scared. On its positive side, the nurturing parent is caring, comforting, empathetic, and protecting. It gives us the ability to show compassion and encouragement, not only to others but also to ourselves. Without it, life would feel cold and mechanical. But the nurturing parent also has a negative side. It can become overprotective, smothering, or rescuing in ways that actually weaken growth. For example, a parent who constantly shields their child from challenges may unintentionally prevent them from building resilience. And within ourselves, too much self-nurturing can turn into excuses or avoidance of responsibility. So, while the nurturing parent brings love and safety, it also needs balance. Too much care without structure can make us fragile, just as too much criticism without warmth can harden us. Together, these two sides of the parent ego state are meant to keep us in balance, discipline with love, rules with understanding, protection with freedom. Now comes the real work, awareness. These ego states are not just theories, they live inside us every single day. The challenge is to catch ourselves when we shift into them. For example, notice the tone of your inner voice. Are you being too critical, sounding judgmental or punishing, like a harsh teacher living in your head? Or are you slipping into too much nurturing, where instead of motivating yourself, you make excuses and avoid challenges? And just as important, observe these states in your children or the people around you. Children especially mirror back what they receive. When you see your child becoming overly critical of themselves, maybe they've absorbed that from your critical parent. When you see them comforting or protecting others, they may be reflecting your nurturing parent. The beauty is, once you recognize these states, you gain the power to choose. You can soften the critical parent with compassion, or balance the nurturing parent with firmness. You can guide your children not just with rules, but with understanding. In the end, the goal is not to eliminate either state, but to balance them. A healthy critical parent gives direction, and a healthy nurturing parent gives love. Together, they help us, and those we care for, evolve into stronger, more whole human beings. So next time you hear that voice in your head, whether it's scolding you or comforting you, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, which parent is speaking right now? And more importantly, is this voice helping me grow, or is it holding me back? When we become conscious of these inner voices, we stop being controlled by them. We start to guide them, shaping a healthier balance between discipline and care. And in doing so, we not only transform ourselves, but also the way we raise our children and interact with the world. If this exploration opens something in you, I invite you to continue this journey with me. Subscribe to Journey into Self for more insights from psychology, philosophy, and self-discovery. And as always, take a moment today to notice the parent within you, and ask, am I leading with criticism, or with care? Because in the end, true growth comes when both voices work together.